presentation is all about environmental and nutritional diseases. Before we start about the diseases that can be caused by environment and nutrition, let us discuss first what is environment. Environment encompasses the various outdoor, indoor, and occupational settings in which humans live and work. In each of these settings, the air people breathe, the food and water they consume, and the toxic agents they are exposed to are major determinants of health. So other environmental factors that can affect our health would be tobacco use or smoking, alcohol ingestion, therapeutic and recreational drug consumptions, diet, and many more. So the factors I have mentioned have a larger effect on human health than that of ambient environment, but new threats related to global warmings that may change this. So, ano nga ba yung environmental disease? So, ang environmental disease is yung mga disorders na caused by exposure natin sa chemical or physical agents, mismong workplace, yung personal environment, and also yung nutritional origin. So, the International Labour Organization has estimated that work-related injuries and illness kill 1.1 people per year globally, mas maraming death kesa sa road accidents and wars. And mostly dito sa work-related problems are caused by illnesses kesa sa aksidente or hazards. So, yung environmental disease, siya ang major cause ng disability, suffering, and heavy financial burden, especially sa mga developing countries. And sometimes, yung environmental disease din is nagko-consequence into major disasters. For example, for the first picture, that is the methyl mercury contamination of Minamata Bay in Japan in the 1960s. Second picture, as you can see, is the leakage of methyl isocyanate gas in Bhopal, India in 1984, yung Chernobyl nuclear accident noong 1986, and on the last picture, yan yung intentional contamination of Tokyo subways by organophosphate pesticide sarin noong 1995. These events are unusual and infrequent occurrences. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya laging nangyayari, but it is less dramatic and more common na mag-cause ng disease and injury produced by chronic exposure to relatively low levels of contaminant. So, because of these disasters, some agencies in United States set permissible levels of exposure to known environmental hazard. For example, ang maximum level of carbon monoxide in air is non-injurious, or the level of radiation exposure is harmless or safe. So, pero a host of factors including complex interactions between pollutants producing multiplicative effects as well as age, genetic predisposition, and different tissue sensitivities of exposed persons create wide variation in individuals. Ibig sabihin, if safe sa isang tao, this specific amount of chemical or exposure, pwedeng sa ibang tao ay hindi ganun. But nevertheless of this, yung safe levels are useful for comparative studies of the effect of harmful agents between the populations and estimating disease in heavily exposed persons. So next is the health effects on climate. As napapansin naman natin, mas lalong umiinit yung mundo at mas lalo nating nararamdaman ang climate change ngayon. So a temperature measurement shows that the Earth has warmed up an accelerating pace over the last 50 years, perhaps at a rate greater than any period during the preceding 1,000 years. Since 1960, the global average temperature has increased by 0.6 degrees Celsius, with the greatest increase seen over land areas between 40 degrees north and 70 degrees north. Yung changes na to because of climate change has has been affecting rapid loss of glacial and sea ice. So there is a prediction that Glacier National Park in Montana and Mount Kilimanjaro in Kenya will disappear by the year 2025, which is now. And yung Arctic Ocean naman will be completely ice-free in the summer by no later than the year 2040. So I think that's 15 years. So maliban sa mga politics, scientists believe that the climate change is at least in part of man-made. So we are the culprit in rising atmospheric level of greenhouse gases, particularly carbon dioxide released through the burning of fossil fuels as well as ozone and methane. So yung na-mention kong gases, if along with the water vapor produce the so-called greenhouse effect by absorbing energy radiated from the Earth's surface that otherwise would be lost into space. And the annual average level of atmospheric carbon dioxide in 2009 was higher than at any point approximately 650,000 years. And if there is no changes in human behavior, it is expected to increase to 500 to 1,200 ppm by the end of this century. Yung health consequence dahil sa climate change will depend dun sa rapidity and severity ng climate change. Pero even in its best case scenario, climate change is expected to have a serious negative impact on our health by increasing incidence of number of diseases. Isa sa example is yung cardiovascular, cerebrovascular, and respiratory diseases, which will be caused by heat waves and air pollution, gastroenteritis, cholera, and any other food and waterborne infectious diseases na pwedeng mag-cause because of contamination ng consequences sa flood, disruption ng clean water, and sewage treatment na maybe galing sa heavy rains and iba pang environmental disasters. Next is yung vector-borne infectious diseases. Example is yung malaria and dengue fever. This can change by geographic distribution related sa pag-increase ng temperature, crop failures, and any other extreme weather variation. Example is yung severe El Nino events. And lastly would be malnutrition caused by sa local climate na nagdi-disrupt ng crop production, maybe because of too much heat or and maliban dun sa mga na-mention kong disease, it is also expecting we will also be expecting a rise in sea levels by 2 to 6 feet by 21,000 or 2,100 because it is estimated na yung glacial ice will be melting, particularly sa Greenland and other parts ng Northern Hemisphere. So, because of this, of course, this will disrupt people's life, creating conditions ripe for political unrest, war, and of course, poverty. And this will cause, all of this will cause malnutrition, sickness, and death. These consequences will not only affect develop, develop, underdeveloping countries, but of course, yung mga developed. So, lahat ng problem na na-mention ko are expecting for politics to develop a new renewable energy resources that stem the production of greenhouse gases. And if we don't have immediate action, climate change stands to become the permanent global cause of environmental diseases in the 21st century and beyond. Next is the toxicity of chemical and physical agents. So, toxicology is defined as the science of poisons. It studies distribution, effects, and mechanisms of action of toxic agents. And approximately 4 billion pounds of toxic chemicals, including 72 million pounds of known carcinogens, are produced each year in United States. And approximately rin 100,000 chemicals in use in the United States ay less than 1% lang yung na-test experimentally for health effects. While in Europe naman, yung number of available chemicals lang nila is less than one-half kesa sa United States. But many of these chemicals naman ay nare-release sa environment as industrial products or discharge as human and animal waste. So now we are considering some basic principles regarding sa toxicity ng exogenous chemical and drugs. So poisons, according to Paracelsus in 16th century, all substances are poison. The right dosage differentiate a poison from a remedy. And perhaps even more, it's more valid today kasi most of the drugs that we're using talaga is pag sumobra ng gamit, hindi na rin talaga maganda pa. Next is yung xenobiotics. Ang xenobiotics is yung exogenous chemical na na-absorb ng katawan natin through inhalation, ingestion, or skin contact. These chemicals may be excreted in urine, sa ihi natin or feces, or eliminated by expired air that we can accumulate in bone, fat, brain, and some other tissues. It is also known that some solvents and drugs are lipophilic, which facilitates their transport in the blood by lipoproteins and penetrate through the lipid components of our cell membrane. So, yung body natin nagre-react siya to na metabolize yung xenobiotics into non-toxic products or ina-activate yung xenobiotics para ma-generate yung toxic compounds and nag-occur yon in two phases. So, yung phase 1 reaction, yung chemical mag-undergo siya ng hydrolysis, oxidation, or reduction. And yung product ng phase 1 are metabolized. Magme-metabolize siya into water-soluble compounds gamit naman yung phase 2. And ang magiging reaction nito is glucuronidation, sulfation, methylation, and conjugation of glutathione. Yung, and yung water-soluble compounds naman is ready na siya to excrete. So our next topic is the environmental pollution. So next is yung air pollution. The air that we breathe is also often laden with many potential causes of disease. Kasi we all know din naman that may mga airborne microorganisms tayo na nagko-cause ng morbidity and death. We have outdoor air pollution. Yung ambient air na na-industrialized ng nation is contaminated with unsavory mixture of gaseous and particulate pollutants more heavily, of course, sa cities and sa mga heavy industry. In United States, the Environmental Protection Agency or EPA monitors and sets allowed upper limits for six pollutants: sulfur dioxide, CO or carbon dioxide, ozone, nitrogen dioxide, lead, and particulate matter. And together, if nagsama-sama yung six pollutant, they will produce the well-known smog that sometimes stifles large cities such as Cairo, Los Angeles, Boston, Mexico City, and Sao Paulo. So, at the slide, makikita nyo yung health effects ng outdoor air pollution. So, yun yung mga pollutants na na-mention yung kanina, ozone, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, acid aerosols, and particulate. So, sulfur dioxide, particles, and acid aerosols are emitted by coal and oil-fired power plants and industrial processes burning these fuels. So, sa tatlong mention ko, particles appears to be the main cause of morbidity and death, especially yung mga particles that less than 10 nanometer in diameter are particularly harmful since pag na-inhale natin yon, they will be carried by the airstream all the way to our alveoli. Dun sa alveoli, phagocytosise sila gamit yung macrophages and neutrophils, causing the release of mediators and of course ng inciting and inflammatory reaction. Ang contrast nito, yung mga larger particles are removed in the nose and matratrap siya sa mucociliary escalator and ang magiging result is less. Next naman is yung carbon monoxide. It is produced naman by incomplete oxidation ng carbonaceous materials. Ang source nito is yung mga automotive engines, industries na gumagamit ng fossil fuels, home oil burners, and cigarette smoke. So, in-include yung CO as air pollutant, pero it is also an important cause ng accident and suicidal death. Ang CO is known as systematic excipient na that kills by binding doon sa hemoglobin and preventing oxygen transport. Yung resultant compound na carboxyhemoglobin is incapable of carrying oxygen, which will lead to hypoxia na maglilid naman sa central nervous system depression and develop insidiously na some of the victims are not aware that they have. And of course, at the end, they can or they will be unable to call out for help. So, ang systematic hypoxia appears when the hemoglobin is 20% to 30% saturated with CO or carbon monoxide, and unconsciousness and death are probable with 60% to 70% saturated. So, yung morphology niya, yung slowly developing hypoxia can insidiously evoke widespread ischemic changes sa brain natin. Yung changes na to is particularly magmamark sa basal ganglia and lenticular nuclei. So, yung patient usually recovers pero meron na silang permanent neurologic damage. And sa chronic poisoning to. For acute poisoning naman, mapapansin nila na they have systematic hypoxia if sa light-skinned people, may mga marks na characteristics by generalized cherry red color of the skin and mucous membrane. So, yung color na yun is imparted because of carboxyhemoglobin. So, sa acute poisoning naman, mas mabilis nangyayari yung death and walang morphologic changes na nangyayari. And if ever na the victim survived CO poisoning, pwede naman makarecover completely, para mostly there is impairment sa hearing, vision, memory, and speech. Next is ang indoor air pollution. So, yung pinaka-common na pollutant sa indoor is yung tobacco smoke, and ang additional offenders niya ay ang carbon monoxide and nitrogen dioxide na na-mention na sa outer pollutants and asbestos. So, as you can see at the slide, yan yung mga common na pollutants indoor. First is yung wood smoke. Ang wood smoke naman kasi is nagko-contain siya ng oxides ng nitrogen and carbon particulates na pwedeng makairita sa lung infections and can sometimes contain carcinogenic polycyclic hydrocarbons. Next is yung radon or yung radioactive gas na galing sa uranium. This is widely present in soil and in home. And lastly is yung bioaerosols. Um, Sometimes yung bioaerosols nagko-contain siya ng pathogenic microbiologic agents katulad ng Legionnaires disease or viral pneumonia. Nagko-cause din yung bioaerosols ng common cold and allergens na derive sa pet dander, sa dust mite, minsan may fungi and molds na magko-cause ng rhinitis, eye irritation, and even asthma. And these are the summaries of my results. First, environmental diseases are conditions caused by exposure sa chemical or physical agent na galing mismo sa workplace, ambient, and even our personal environment. Ang exogenous chemical naman, known as xenobiotics, enter the body through inhalation, ingestion, and skin contact and ma-eliminate siya or ma-accumulate siya sa fat, bone, brain, and other tissues natin. So, yung xenobiotics is nakakonvert siya into non-toxic product like what I've mentioned kanina sa phase 1 and or ma-activate niya yung P450 system ng katawan natin. Ang pinaka-most common na air pollutants are ozone, combination siya ng oxides and particulate matters na nag-form ng smog. Sulfur dioxide, acid aerosols, and particles less than 10 nanometer in diameter. Lastly, carbon dioxide is an air pollutant and important cause of death from accidents and suicide. Katulad na sinabi ko kanina, meron tayong chronic poisoning and acute poisoning. So, yung CO or yung carbon monoxide, nagbabind siya sa hemoglobin with high affinity na maglilid into systemic asphyxiation associated with central nervous system depression. That's all. Thank you.